I'm Myke Shrews,
And I'm Tivis,
and you're listening to
the Munster Cast.
episode 58. Welcome back, everybody, to the MUNSTERCAST, the podcast where we watch and talk about the Munsters. I am, of course, your host, Myke Shrews, here with my co-host and friend Tivis. So, please, Tivis, tell us all dramatically. How you doing today, dude?
I'm doing better than you.
Everybody's doing better than me. All right.
For the listeners, just a little peek behind the curtain. Myke is once again remodeling. Here we are another spring, and he's got another room to remodel.
Yep. I'm sure I'm going to have another one after this one, too. So, real quick, all the dirty business. You can find the MUNSTERCAST on all podcast services, of course, first of all, and social media via Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. You can also see our pretty ugly faces over at YouTube at youtube.com/@TheMunsterCast. You can also swing on over to TheMunsterCast.com. There you can check out all of our freaking content, video, audio, written stuff, anything that you can find over there. You can also email us at themunstercast@outlook.com. There you can tell us your Munster stories, or if you want to try and come on to the show, let us know and we can try and schedule that. We have a few people who we are working with to get scheduled up properly to come on and talk with us and go about our Munster business. So yeah, definitely hit us up there at themunstercast@outlook.com. You can also swing on over and get some awesome Munster merch made just for y'all out there, Munster fans. themunstercast.com/merch, or you can just go to themunstercast.com and click the merch tab up in the top of the website. Again, everything that revolves around us can be found pretty much on the website. You can find our social media links there, Twitter, all that stuff, YouTube, everything. If we're on it, it's on the website for sure. You can also click on the little mic icon on the right hand side of the website and leave us a voicemail, which we can play on the podcast on air for you. So if you want to tell us a Munster story, something you loved about the Munsters, something you might not have liked about certain iterations of Munsters, things like that, anything you got, just let us know and send us a little message right there on the website, and we'll play it right for you on the podcast so everybody can hear. Those are a lot better coming straight from your vocals rather than us just repeating something from an email. But we also love the emails that we get from all you guys out there as well. You can also just message us on any social media platform.
Yeah. And don't forget about our Patreon, which is basically just a tip jar. But if you do help us out there, you get access to our Discord, which is where you can watch along with the Munsters Today with us. Myke very graciously puts them up a week in advance, so you have a full week to watch it before we talk about it.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Go
on.
Oh, no, go.
I was going to say, if you guys don't want to mess with Patreon at all and you do want to just help the show out too, there are links in our description for just like a straight up tip jar. There are links, or there's actually a thing on the left-hand side of the website that you can click and just donate however much that you guys want to the show as well. So that's all set up as well. So, because I know some people out there don't either mess with Patreon, don't have a Patreon account, things like that. But if you do want to get a hold of the Discord, unfortunately, it is linked to the Patreon. So that's the main thing with that one there. But if you just want to help the show out and stuff, just go on and hit one of those tip jars somewhere else too.
And something else that'll help the show is leave us a review on any services that you can. YouTube, your podcatcher of choice. Throw it out into the internets, whatever. Also, make sure to tell a friend. All this stuff helps the show way more than anything else.
Definitely does. And I think that's it for us.
But we got one more. Well, yes, us.
Yes, for us. One last thing is you can swing on over to the rondoaward.com and vote for the recent Munsters film to win the Rondo Award. There, guys, it is up along with a bunch of other categories. There's tons of categories there, tons of
Write
different
us into the
content and stuff.
podcast.
Yeah, there's podcasts there. You can write us on into there if you want to vote for us as the podcast for the year. I believe it is. Voting ends when, Tivis?
April 23rd. So when this episode comes out, you have 3 more weeks to vote.
Okay. Awesome. So definitely take advantage of that, guys. Anything that helps Munsters win awards or even just get recognition, just being nominated in there is kind of cool for the movie in general. So definitely do that. And it would also be awesome even more if a Munsters podcast was nominated, guys. So write us on in. Yeah, definitely. I have yet to go on there and vote for anything. I need to get on there tonight and do that myself.
Yeah.
My free time of 5 minutes during the day.
That's my plan for today. Do that and then taxes.
Yes. Oh,
Tax season.
taxes. Oh, there goes my 5 minutes for the day.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, definitely check that out. Go over there, hit up the Rondo Awards. It's the classic horror awards. If people aren't familiar with it, they have a whole about me or about us section, stuff like that on the website, so you can learn more about it too before you just go and put on your vote and stuff. Because I know some people are very picky about what they do on the internet nowadays, which is awesome because you should be. Other than that, guys, I don't believe we have much left to say or to news or anything like that. Nothing new has come out yet about the Munsters. Yeah, and then some of the things that we just have coming up is episodes and more episodes and more episodes.
So which one are we talking about today, Myke?
Today we are talking about Rock Fever, aired December 3rd, 1988. Definitely fun show, Tivis. All right, so here's my written up synopsis. That's not really a synopsis, it's just like a whatever. This week on the Munsters Today, Marilyn plays groupie and lets the band crash at the mansion, while Lily is looking forward to her anniversary with the help of Grandpa and one of his crazy inventions. Will chaos ensue? Find out with all that and more on this week's episode of The Munsters Today, Rock Fever. Dun, dun, dun. Okay. And yes, I called Marilyn a groupie in that, guys.
Yeah. It's not wrong.
Okay. What you got for us?
Yeah, this is season 1, episode 9. This is the 79th episode overall of the entire Munsters run. This was written by Ted Bergman and Kathy Joseph. Now, Kathy doesn't have a whole lot, so I'm going to start with her. She's only got 3 writing credits, this show being the last one. She also did an episode of Gimme a Break and 1 episode of Small Wonder. So, short little career, but appreciate her contribution with all the same. Ted, on the other hand, has done quite a lot. He wrote season 2, episode 19, The Most Beautiful Ghoul in the World, if you remember. That was his very first writing credit.
Okay.
He did 26 episodes of the Smother Brothers Comedy Hour, which got him nominated for a Primetime Emmy for Outstanding Writing Achievement in Music or Variety. He did 12 episodes of The Jonathan Winter Show, 11 episodes of Sanford and Son, and 13 episodes of Give Me a Break. And of course, there's some more as well, but that was some of his highlights. So we got quite a distinguished person helping out. This was directed by Peter Isaac. Excuse me. This was his only directing credit. I did mention him before, but I don't know how deep I got into it. He produced 20 projects and acted in 27. You may remember the name because he previously directed Designing Munsters and Farewell Grandpa. and he'll be back again for episode 16. So
nice.
the
Spoilers.
as a director, that's
Spoilers, man. What if we really loved his style and we're like, oh man, we're never gonna see that again? And now you spoil
let's
it.
see it
We're
again. He
gonna
did
see
like
it.
13 episodes. I said that last
Well, I'm saying, like, you know what I mean.
time.
Coming up. You know, I only listen to half of what you say anymore.
I'm aware. So we
or I listen to everything you say and then only like half of it sticks.
we have 4 guests this week.
Yes.
The first one is the one who's got the most here. David Coburn as Rick. He wrote 2 things in 2016. Cockatoo Spritz and an episode of the miniseries What the Fuck France. I had to mention that one because why wouldn't I? His first acting credit was Jimmy on 2 episodes of Different Strokes. He voiced Dan Parrott in Pole Position, which I've never heard of this show, but maybe you have. Here's the synopsis for it, Mike. A teen stunt car team secretly fights crime with the help of their artificially intelligent cars. Now, where do you think they got that idea from? Maybe a show that premiered 2 years prior?
Knight Rider.
He was on an episode of Star Trek The Next Generation. He played Walter Potter in Harry and the Hendersons, and he was the voice of Captain Planet as well as the narrator and Captain Pollution for Captain Planet and the Planeteers.
Nice.
Yeah. He's got a long career of like voice acting and bunch of stuff. Highly recommend checking him out. Next, we have Alan Fawcett as Freddie Wonder. He played Kelly McGrath on The Edge of Night and Russ Trent on Dangerous Woman. Then we got Rob Garrison as Ralph, who played Tommy in Karate Kid Part 2, and Cobra Kai. And he was also known for Sayer in the 1980s slasher Prom Night, which I'm sure you're familiar with.
Yeah.
And finally, we have Joey Green as Ron, who played Gilly Walker in Little Vic, which won him a New York Emmy in Outstanding Children's Programming. And he was also Frank Wilson Jr. on Rocky Road.
He was also in The Exorcist too.
Yeah.
I'm assuming he was a kid. Yeah, it says young Kakumo. So.
Yeah, it wasn't a major role, I don't think, so that's why I didn't include it. But like I said, I always say, check these people out for yourself. You may be surprised where you recognize them.
It's like he did the Munsters Today, and then he only had 2 other projects afterwards. For Joey Green. And did he pass away or something, or just quit acting? It doesn't show any information on him at all on that. I'm not sure. I don't know. All right. Anyways, is that all we got for actors or for cast and stuff like that today, dude?
Yep.
Awesome. All right. With that said, guys, that's it. Show's over. No. Let's dive on into this. First of all, I would like to point out we get a slightly different angle on the house this time.
Very slightly different, but we open up to a pan across the TV with those pesky bunny ears, and they are very prominent in this shot right here. Very prominent. It's like right in your face. So yeah, the bunny ears are back on the TV, guys. I love it. Yeah, Eddie's doing his homework and Grandpa's watching a musical. What's the musical, Mike?
Psycho 2, the musical, which is not a musical.
No, and Eddie says this much to him, and he, as a woman screams, he says, "That sounds like music to me."
Yeah. And this would have been Psycho 2 came out. Okay, yeah, early 80s probably. Yeah, for the second one. Yeah.
I didn't even know there was a second one. I'll be honest.
Dude, there's like 4 of them
Really?
with the original guy with Anthony Perkins.
Oh wow. I
I,
know my wife and mother-in-law watched the Bates Motel.
the
My
TV
wife
show.
had no idea it was a prequel to an old movie. I'm like, yeah, because that's because you don't watch black and white movies like a weirdo.
What? How does she not? Does she just not know about the Bates Motel or anything?
Nope.
So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 movies in the original set. Oh no, wait. No. 1, 2, 3, 4 in the original set with Anthony Perkins. So you have Psycho in 60, Psycho 2 in 83, Psycho 3 in 86, and then Psycho 4 the beginning in 1990. Then of course the remake in 98 with
Didn't know there was a remake.
yeah, it had what's his face played Norman Bates, Vince Vaughn.
Really?
Yeah.
Shit, I gotta find this now. I love Vince Vaughn.
And then they had Bates Motel made for TV movie in 87, which I didn't know about that one. I'm sure it probably sucks. And then of course the Bates Motel TV show from 2013 to 2017.
Yeah, she got mad at me when I said, "Oh, this is the guy who talks to his dead mom." And she's like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, oops.
Spoilers. Did they get all I never finished the show. Did they get all the way into that stuff or no?
I didn't pay attention.
Okay.
I just remember that guy went on to play the good doctor, and all I see now is him playing Norman Bates as a doctor, and I'm like, I don't trust you.
Yeah. Every time that show pops on the TV, I'm like, yeah, that's Norman Bates, my man. Isn't it also the same kid who played like Charlie in the Chocolate Factory in the Willy Wonka series?
I do not know.
With Johnny Depp? I believe so. I think so. Anyways. I don't remember. Anyways. I mean, it is a universal product too. So everybody always forgets that. Yeah. So Norman Bates is technically like a universal monster
killer.
He's a monster in a way. I mean, nowadays we have to say it's a mental illness and he's okay, which they actually get into in the other movies. If you ever watch them, like he gets out of jail and like he's supposed to be reformed and stuff. And like this continues on and everything. I'm like, I don't know how they got 4 movies out of it. I'm like, once the dude's caught, like you would think, Well,
I mean, you would think they'd be over once someone's dead as well, but that didn't stop Jason.
Yeah, but this isn't like a supernatural type thing with Jason.
It was like supernatural either.
It became that with Norman Bates. It never really got supernatural. It just stuck with like the straight. It would have been like if in real life, if like Jeffrey Dahmer got released from prison on like mental stuff and like, oh yeah, he's cured now, so we can let him go even though he killed all these people. But
that's not how that works. That should never be how it works.
Tell that to the Batman franchise because they let Joker out 20 million times in different stories from Arkham. And they've let him out too in other iterations. Anyway, sorry guys. It is a universal product, anyways.
We're on a tangent anyway. I think I told you a little bit about this the other day, but I was watching Beetleborg's Metallics, the 90s Saban kids show, and they had an episode. For those who don't know, there was like a house full of basically Universal monsters, and then a weird Jay Leno Elvis ghost.
It was basically the Munsters house almost.
Yeah, pretty much.
For the Beetleborgs, yeah.
And there was a woman who showed up who was like a long forgotten they never used the term universal monster, but she was a long forgotten horror icon who was from the silent films. She was known for her zombie flicks with her facial expressions where she scared the pants off people. Okay. But it was an interesting one. It would have been a lot better if they didn't have the camera going like this the entire freaking episode.
Do you know who it was?
I could look it up real quick.
Was it The Dangerous Daughter or
No, it was. I mean,
someone's just very forgotten?
well, I don't think it was real. I think they made it.
Oh, okay. They just made it up for the show. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one though too. If you guys really like Universal Monster stuff, and Power Rangers, so just go watch Beetleborgs if you like those two things.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing.
Trying to remember what episode it was. This is not good
Okay.
at audio.
All right, so Psycho 2 the musical plays, and I actually really enjoyed the fact that they
I found it.
Okay, what is it?
She was named Ruthless.
Ruthless. Okay.
Yeah, played by Lance Wingnet.
Okay. I'm gonna have to look that image up here. But I did like how they what's the word I'm looking for? They did like a subtle foreshadowing in this episode with just this very opening. Like we have no other context to what the episode's going to be like besides, of course, the title, because we're in 2023 now. But back then it was like a great subtle foreshadowing of this episode is going to be based around music because Grandpa's already talking about music.
That's true. I didn't catch that.
Yeah.
But Eddie is now into the film. But Herman quickly comes over and tells him, no. No murders, no muggings, no violence until you finish your homework. So, good parenting.
Yeah.
So Marilyn comes in and screams for absolutely no reason.
But she's back this episode. That's why she's like, yes, I get screen time. Oh.
She has some exciting news. The lizards are coming. Grandpa's like, well, I'll need to call someone to call the spiders. Marilyn's like, no. They're a rock band. They're new, and they're going to be in the area to be on this TV show called Rock Fever. Eddie howls for the first again
for this episode.
Yeah, he gives his howl. Outstanding. Herman knew a man who had rock fever once.
Yeah, and then Eddie explains to him, "No, Dad."
I wanted to hear this story because he starts going in about the gold rush before Eddie. What? Hold on. Wait. What? Go back to this. I want to hear Herman's tale. Yeah. Apparently, it's some TV show. MTV is on now, I guess. Is this around the time MTV got big? When did that start?
Late 80s would probably be.
All right, that's your era.
More specific for. Oh, screw you, bro.
Marilyn.
So MTV started in 81, so yeah, it was probably starting to get bigger.
It's been
now.
Well established by now, though.
Yeah.
All right.
Probably Beavis and Butthead were on there by now.
Oh, more than likely. God, they just started their new episode. We're going off tangent again. All right.
Anyway.
I
did like. Oh, go on.
Well, she's like, they need a place to stay. So I offered them our house. How considerate of her to not even consult the family.
It's kind of just like the episode with the Standells back in the 60s.
Yeah,
the Far Out Munsters. I looked at the episode number up because I forgot. It was season 1, episode 26, Far Out Munsters from 1964 with the Standells. Well, actually, it probably would have been 65 by that time. The Standells. I'm glad that they didn't redo exactly what they did in that episode, because that's where I kind of thought this was going.
Yeah.
When they were like, oh yeah, they're gonna come here and they're gonna practice, and I was like, oh no, they're literally copying that episode. Just it's not the Munsters Airbnb-ing their house out this time. Which, do people remember that the Munsters Airbnb'd their house out?
Yep. They were setting precedent. So Grandpa, hearing that they're going to be staying with them, is not happy and asks what's wrong with a marionette. Apparently they got thrown out for trashing their hotel room. Herman hopes they can do the same
for
them.
Marionette?
Yeah, Mariette.
Marriott. Okay, yeah, the Marriott Motel or hotel or
Yes,
whatever. Yeah, I thought you
that's
said
what I meant.
marionette,
I
like
may have.
Pinocchio.
I may have, but Eddie's hoping they play their biggest hit, which is called "Baby Burn Me, Love Me." Mm.
Which I'm curious what that would sound like. Rob Zombie, please do that song because I could see that being a title of his song.
Uh,
Baby.
Grandpa wants the love theme from the Towering Inferno, and then just goes to his lap.
Yeah, Grandpa, like, as soon as he hears that there's another freaking band coming to the house, he's like, I'm out. Deuces. Peace. Like, I'm outie.
So at this point, Lily decides to come downstairs, which I hope we see the upstairs of their house eventually.
Yeah, we haven't had like a bedroom scene or nothing yet, have we?
No, well, we may get to that. No, we won't. That's right. He's in the living room. So yeah, we haven't
Yeah.
seen anything from upstairs at all, except for just at the top of the stairs with the suit of armor.
Yeah.
Herman compliments her, and she thanks him as she's been upstairs splitting her ends. Uh, Herman Herman notices how she didn't miss any, and the doorbell rings, interrupting this uncomfortable moment for their child. Uh, and Marilyn freaks the fuck out.
Yeah.
It's oh, Lily thinks they got takeout food because no one bothered to tell her what's going on yet, and she's extremely upset because she thinks it's a waste of money.
Where would the Munsters order takeout food from? Oh my goodness. I'm trying to think of it now.
Ooh.
Thinking about what they eat. Like, ooh.
The only thing coming to my mind, I think, is pizza and like Chinese delivery.
Would it be the ancestor of the guy who ran the laundromat back in the other show? Just a completely like racist ass version of the character.
How did that guy not come after Herman for destroying his business?
Right. Oh man.
Yeah. So yeah, it's the lizards. Marilyn introduces them. Their names are Rick, Ron, and Ralph.
Yeah. Which
Ron is in the middle. I'm guessing who Rick and Ralph are. So if I'm wrong throughout any of my stuff, forgive me, because they didn't exactly point out or name them.
No, they did not. Well, no, the one guy gets the name down in the lab later.
Does he? I missed that. That would have helped me.
He says his name. I forget which one he was talking to though, because he looked at both of them. That's the thing. Is it very ambiguous of
but
it?
The guy in the middle is named Ron, who marvels over Herman, and then Spot's door shoots up, and their drummer, who I think is Rick, wants to know what's in there. Lily, some fire shoots out at some point, and Lily's like, "Oh no, it hasn't happened yet." Lily's like, "Our Spot sleeps in there," and they begin calling Spot like it's a dog until fire erupts from the hole, and they jump back.
Right. So
Ron's like, if that's their dog, he would hate to be their mailman. Which, yeah, a lot of postal workers have died coming to this house.
Yep.
It's fucked up.
Hey man, you take the job, you got no.
Yeah.
So some postal workers just were a lot stronger than man.
Yeah. My aunt's a postal worker, and yeah, that's all I'm gonna say.
Did she meet Spot yet?
Yeah. So down in the lab, Lily is asking Grandpa to help with her surprise anniversary gift. So not only do we have the lizards, we now have a B plot of their anniversaries coming up.
Yeah.
Grandpa's going through his book.
Just okay, here, so we're clear on the names. Rick was the guy in the middle, as you said.
Ron.
Ron. Yes. Ron is played by Joey Green, right? Yes.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I'm just going in the order that they gave the name.
So Rick and Ralph, I have no clue who the hell which one is which, because Ron's the only one they name down the lab later.
Well, that he was in the middle, so I'm assuming the middle name is his.
Well, Joey Green is the only one who's played by the black guy.
Okay, so he was the one furthest away from Marilyn when she starts naming him, and he plays who?
Ron.
Okay, so yeah, I have these names completely wrong then. They weren't even given the names in the order that they were standing.
Right. So yeah, Ron is the one who's played by Joey Green. And then that's it. The Ralph and Rick, I'm assuming Rick has the more pointier face out of these three, and then Ralph is gonna be the other guy.
So I'm just gonna start referring to them as drummer, lead singer, and other guy. Or Ron. I know Ron. Drummer, lead singer, and Ron.
Also, I looked up Babe Ruthless from the show. Does it look like a Bigfoot almost?
What are you talking about?
Never mind. We're gonna move on because clearly
what
it's
the
not.
Fuck is Babe Ruthless?
I don't know. I was trying to find the ruthless character from Beetleborgs that you were talking about, and that's all I could find.
I'll just send you the Wikipedia link.
Okay, do that.
Look at
all
that.
right. Anyways.
Oh yeah. Grandpa's going through his book, everything he wanted to know about the about alchemy.
Yes.
But we're afraid to ask. Lily asks if this is going to work, and he explains how alchemy works. It's as reliable as astrology, so not really. Which is true. Here's a little history lesson.
Sorry, I'm gonna do this, Tivis.
All right.
In order from left to right, when we first meet the group, you have Ron, Rick, and Ralph.
Okay.
I pulled up the image of them standing next to each other, and I'm comparing it to their what they look like in real life. So
okay,
yeah,
good. That's good to know. I just took the show's
and like
word
I said,
that they were naming them in order.
Like I said, the pointy face guy is Rick. So, and then that just leaves Ralph as the other guy who.
I'm guessing Ralph is lead singer then. Which one's the middle?
Rick.
So Ralph is the drummer. All right.
Rick. Okay. So, moving forward, we're down in Grandpa's lab, and he's doing his fun stuff down there.
Yeah. It's coming up on their 275th anniversary, which, if you remember the last episode, Lily said he was going to miss their 276th, 77th, and 78th. So he was not going to leave before this one, at least. Just thought that was neat little info. So Grandpa wants to know what Ebenezer Munster will get her. She thinks it'll be her 275th bottle of S-Day Slaughter, which I don't know what that is. So, nice guy, if you somehow know the answer to this one, I appreciate
Estee Lauder is the company for cosmetics. So Estee Slaughter, I'm assuming
it's some kind of cosmetic.
Yeah, you don't know what Estee Lauder is? You're married, bro. What the fuck?
That doesn't mean shit.
I'm not gonna say your wife's name, but I'm sorry for you that you have to live with this man. Okay.
She don't listen to this.
You should know what Estee Lauder is. Like, oh my goodness.
I've never heard of that in my life.
It's just a play on words is what they did here. Estee Slaughter instead of Estee Lauder. That's all.
I tried so hard to look that up, and I could not get anything.
Well, it is spelled Estee as an E-S-T-E-E, and then Lauder, I think it's L-A-U-D-E-R.
I figured it was something.
Yeah. We don't buy that stuff here, by the way. I just know of it. I'm sure we've had it in our house beforehand. So
yeah, she's like, if he remembers it all. And Grandpa asks if she got the tin and lead he asked for to make the gold. She pulls out some tin foil and lead pencils. Grandpa just looks at him, doesn't seem too happy before moving forward anyway. Are you Cole? Oh, you're yawning. Okay. He then gets out his old reading magnifying glass before beginning whatever ritual he's about to do. Oh, yeah, I was going to go into alchemy. So, for those who don't know, alchemy was like very beginning of chemistry where they would use some cheap chemical reactions to trick people into thinking they can turn metal into gold and basically swindle people.
Yeah. Yeah. It was kind of like a snake oil type thing. Like,
Yeah.
this is what
But
we're gonna
with
do, but with
science.
science. Yeah. It's this. I mean, the cosmetic companies are still doing snake oil shit with science. So
Yeah. It says before starting to make sure your electron modulator is in working order. So it's another book that incorporates modern tech, like the '60s show. Got it.
modulator. I swear Grandpa was like the prerequisite for Doofenshmirtz from Phineas and Ferb. You never watched
Oh,
Phineas and
okay.
Ferb, did you? Did you? Okay.
Uh,
Like he always just had these random inventions. The Innator. They were always innators. And it was whatever with innator at the end. So this would have been electron modulator. In the modulating or no. Fuck. I messed it up. Never mind. Moving on.
I may be into a lot of kids shows, but once we get past the 2010s, I kind of lose it because I don't have kids and those aren't as good.
Phineas and Ferb is actually a really good show, and it was
Yeah, I've seen a few with the platypus.
and that was 2007, bro.
Well, you know what? Ed and Eddie was the peak. So.
All right. So where are we at? He pulls out his modulator. He pulls it out.
Lily says that sounds dangerous.
Yeah.
But he laughs at the danger.
And what does Grandpa pull out? He just pulls out like
weird handheld thing with a light.
He pulls out a camera flash. It's like an old camera flash.
Oh, yeah, that they would hold.
Yeah. So he and then it has like some weird like tassel like that you put on your nipple or something dangling off of it. It's just a tassel just hanging off of where the actual bulb itself would be. And I'm just like, what is this thing that he's going to do? I was confused. I thought the magnifying glass was the modulator at first.
He begins reading his book. He's like, simply point the modulator at the object to be changed. Lily freaks out noticing it's facing her head.
Yeah. And then he says, and then say whatever you need, whatever you want it to change into, you have to say it right before it happens.
So he turns it on. The light bulb lights up bright. He hits the button, and Lily says,
cheese.
Lily goofed it this time.
Lily definitely goofed it. Grandpa did not goof anything in this episode, which I'm surprised about.
It was all Lily.
It was Lily, and yeah. So, well we'll get to the other part, but Grandpa didn't fuck anything up.
It was already fucked up before.
You can't blame Grandpa this time. So yeah, Lily had the cheese turn or the whatever. What was it?
Her tin foil and pencils turned into cheese, but at least the rats will be happy, especially little Luigi.
When it changed into cheese, it looked like a block of cheese with like carrots and like other vegetables on top of it, and I was like so confused. It's like, what are you doing? Like, what are we changing this into? So then she's like, all right, well, you fix it, old man, even though I screwed it up, basically.
Yeah. Well, Eddie comes down at that. He's like, hey, the lizards are about to rehearse. You want to come listen? And Lily's like, yeah, I'll be there. Grandpa has to stay here and fix this, though.
Yeah.
Grandpa's like, it's not easy to reverse this, and then he kind of trails off, looking at the cheese and then tries some. Oh, no. First, he tries to turn it back into pencils and tin foil to no success. Then he takes a bite, and he immediately takes the rest over to Stanley to try, which Stanley just barks at him.
Yep. Really loud with the bark, too, this time.
It's still unknown whether it's nice or not based on Grandpa's reaction.
Yeah. Then Grandpa goes back over to the cheese and turns it into a chicken.
First, we get a cut back to the basement. There was a commercial cut in between this.
Yeah.
Where he's still trying to do, yeah, he's like, it's no time to be chicken. And then poof, now he's got a chicken.
Yeah. And he shoos the chicken off. And then what is laying there afterwards, Tivis?
It's a golden egg.
A golden
He's so excited until he cracks it open on his hand and it reveals it's just an egg.
Yeah. And then Lily busts on in and is like, hey, old dude, like, can we clear this up so Herman doesn't see it? Everybody's coming down here real quick. So let's go and do that.
First she comes down. She's like, did Herman ask you to help him with my present?
Yeah.
And his response is so short and to the point. Dream on. You can tell he's frustrated with what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So now's where Herman, Marilyn, and maybe Eddie, I can't remember, come down with the band to show them the lab.
Yeah. Eddie's not down there. But everybody else shows up. Yeah.
Herman notices that Grandpa's doing something and is like, ooh, I want to see the experiment. And Lily jumps in and is like, no, why don't you go show the guests the upstairs instead? The lead singer guy, whose name I already forgot, rushes up to shake Grandpa's hand. Rick. Who greets them all as one. He then the lead guy looks at his hand and Grandpa's like, oh, don't worry about that. That's just a little egg.
Yeah. He goes and wipes it off a random rag that he finds in this dirty lab. I'm like, you don't know what that was used for, dude. Yeah.
Rick begins wandering the room, impressed by the machinery. He grabs the modulator and asks what this was. Grandpa tells him it's top secret experiments. The drummer asks what kind, and Grandpa says if he tells him, it won't be a secret anymore. Meanwhile, the lead guy goes to touch a machine, and Grandpa tells him that it's not safe to touch things in here. So Rick goes, we won't touch a thing. Then the three of them proceed to touch everything.
Yeah. They're like a bunch of little kids in this scene here.
Yeah. Ron picks up the magnifying glass, and Grandpa is struggling not to just kill them all.
I mean, he's got them in the basement already. It's free food. That's delivery. Not
but Marilyn will be upset with him.
Marilyn doesn't have to know. Oh, they left. I don't know what happened, Marilyn.
Yeah, so now we cut to later that night where Herman is reading in the dining room, and I got excited for a second because he was in his pajamas, and I'm like, are we finally going to see their bedroom? No, he's at the table because he's got their napkin holder, the hands propping open the book.
Yeah.
So
they're both in their PJs, and this is where Lily keeps going. And she's like, oh, look at this. She's like looking at the calendar and it's like, oh, look at this. What's tomorrow?
Did you hear the drink she brought him?
What do you mean hear it?
It's hot decaffeinated pond scum.
Again, where would they be ordering takeout from?
I think they got that from their
moat.
Herman's like, why are you being so good to me? Which is natural because I too get suspicious when my wife is being extra nice to me. Usually it means there's a vinyl coming out, but you know what? I do the same when board games are coming up.
I want her to taste my food before I'm going to eat it.
Wow. All right.
That's a hyperbolic statement. Come on, it's a joke.
Lily opens up that cupboard door and is like, hey, look, this calendar with this date circled on it. And he's like, what look at this day. Do you know what's special about it?
It's like, oh, it's Friday the 13th.
It's a Monday, you dumbass. No. Is it Halloween? No. Okay. What about so he goes through a list of things here. I'm
Mhm.
going to try and see which one of these is closest to the date he's guessing.
Okay.
So he talks about the sinking of the Titanic, April 15th, 1912. That's 76 years, 7 months, and 18 days.
Wait, what did you say?
The sinking of the Titanic.
Okay.
Yeah, it was 1912, so it's
Yeah,
76
yeah.
years.
Which was it started sinking on the 14th, but yeah.
Yeah. Is it the anniversary of the Johnstown flood? No. That occurred May 31st, 1889, which is almost 100 years. So that's closer to being an anniversary. Then we got the St. Valentine's Day Massacre,
Mm-hmm.
February 14th, 1929. Nope, not St. Valentine's Day.
Well, I mean, it's called St. Valentine's Day Massacre. You would assume that it's on Valentine's
Yeah.
Day.
Custer's Last Stand. The Battle of Little Bighorn lasted June 25th to 26th. That one, 112 years and 5 months. That's not close to being the anniversary. So far, the closest one is the flood. Then he begins, Lily begins crying as he begins saying, Black Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday, so here's an interesting stuff for you. Black Monday was the global stock market crash of 1987. Black Tuesday was the American stock market crash of 1929. Black Wednesday was the UK crash of 1992. It hadn't happened yet as of this show, but it was predicted.
Okay. The Simpsons.
Yeah.
Just like The Simpsons.
So he looks at the circle day that from the circles on the calendar back to Lily.
So Saturday, Sunday, and Thursday the only non-black days that we have. That sounds so bad when I said it just now, but I meant
I mean, Black Friday is the American.
So that's why I said Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday are the only.
Maybe I don't know. I only looked up what he said, but he ends with yelling loudly, "Black Sabbath" as Lily wails, and I hope to God he's referring to the band and not the Holocaust event, which took place July 11th, 1942.
Oh, there is a Black Thursday, the first day of the stock market crash of 1929.
Yeah, so the stock market is just a.
So we just have, and there is a Black Saturday, the Battle of Pinky Cleugh, 1547 battle fought between the Scottish and English. So every day is Black Day. There you go. You're welcome, everyone.
Yeah,
Black Sabbath would be no, Sabbath is actually technically a Saturday, but
there are so many references to the Black Sabbath. I hope to God it wasn't that one. Any of the others, probably okay. There's a couple really bad ones, but that's the worst.
Yeah. Oh, there's a movie called Black Sunday, though.
So yeah, the lizards. We're gonna continue the show now.
let's just toss black in front of everything, just because it was a bad thing. That sounds so bad.
As someone who is into history and stuff, I just got curious with all the stuff he's naming. Yeah. What was the closest to being an anniversary? And it looks like it was the flood.
Okay.
So yeah, now we're back in the lab. The lizards are sneaking in. They're gonna play around with all the tech. And a bat flies by them. Is
that Igor?
Yeah, was that Igor?
I don't know.
They pick up the modulator thinking it's a camera, and they decide to all take a picture. What do they yell? The band name.
These guys are tools, dude.
Yeah, they do.
So when I saw the scene, my first thought was it's like a different take on like Goosebumps. You know how like in Goosebumps you would do this stupid shit and you would go into some mysterious place, whatever. But the way Goosebumps played it out is very scary, like in tone. This is like a Goosebumps story, but not scary. Like the tone isn't set scary because it's like kind of role reversed almost. Anyways,
No,
it's
I
seen
gotta
from another
understand.
perspective.
I like the Goosebumps. R.L. Stein is great. He's still producing or writing that stuff.
Yeah.
So Lily comes down to wake Grandpa, who comes out of his, coffin, flapping his hands again. I that gets me every time. I don't think I'm ever going to get tired of that. So he says that she must have come down to see the gold. It worked brilliantly.
Yeah.
Lily says that must have been the explosion she heard on her way down, right? What explosion? She swears she heard the lizards and then some kind of boom. So Grandpa immediately goes to investigate, finding a bunch of rubber lizards.
Also, do you like how the lizards are like Power Rangers? They got red, blue, and yellow shirts on each of them.
Yeah. Grandpa just he's not happy at all, but he's glad that they didn't call themselves the elephants.
What if Grandpa was the bat that flew by and was just like, "Fuck it, they're gonna kill themselves, and then I'll have food."
Well, we didn't see him lock himself back into his casket though, so it had to be a different bat.
I mean, there was a cut. You don't know. And then because he was flapping like this, like he just became not a bat again.
Well, he was a bat when she opened the casket, but
Oh yeah. That's right.
so yeah.
This is where Grandpa pleads with because we go to a cut and then we come back to everybody Herman and Marilyn are back down there now.
Yeah, Marilyn's freaking the fuck out.
She's freaking out, and Grandpa's like, "Look, actually, I told them not to touch anything. This isn't my fault, And he's honest. I mean, he's being truthful. He didn't do nothing.
Yeah, Herman's telling her to look at the bright side. If their tails break off, they'll regrow. That's something they couldn't do as people.
Also, Grandpa, maybe put your stuff away. You have a bunch of random ass kids walking around your house.
Put a bolt on that lab door.
From the inside.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
lock up your weapons, Grandpa.
So Grandpa's like, look, no, please don't. It's not my fault, but I will get them back to normal. I promise. Eddie comes in with a shaker full of flies, and then Grandpa starts grating it into the cage. And Marilyn's like, "You're feeding them flies? Well, what are they supposed to eat? Twinkies?"
Yeah, and then Marilyn freaks out and she runs into the coffin.
She throws herself into Grandpa's coffin. Herman and Lily try to get her out, and Herman's like, "Look, you're being a quitter, and that's something that Munsters just aren't." But she doesn't leave the coffin, so Herman quits trying.
All right, I quit. Did you notice there's like a femur like right next to them all in this shot?
That doesn't shock me.
There's like this giant femur just sitting on a shelf that has a bunch of dust on it. I'm like, yep.
Grandpa needs to clean more.
Grandpa totally could have killed these boys and then just threw 3 lizards on the floor and been like, they turned themselves into lizards. What can I do?
Yeah. I want people to know I'm referring to them as toys because they were rubber lizards, but we're meant to believe they're real.
Yeah, they were.
Hence why Grandpa's feeding them. Yeah. So yeah,
and those were big lizards too.
Yeah, it's gonna be weird in that little rat cage. Lily finally forces it open and gets Marilyn out, and Grandpa tells her in order to reverse the electronic fusion, it requires tonal transformation. I had to listen to that several times to get it correct. Herman agrees with him, and Grandpa just turns to look at him like, what? Shut up. He's like, he needs to find a specific sound. It's somewhere between a cat dragging its claws across the blackboard. Oh, God. I don't know if I told the story, but when I was younger, nails on a chalkboard, I was like, hey, let's find out what this is like. So I did it. I hate that feeling. I hate that feeling so much. It stuck with me for almost 30 years.
The feeling or the sound?
The feeling.
The feeling that you get from the sound, or just the feeling
No,
from
just the
doing it?
feeling of the chalkboard underneath your fingertip. Oh, God. Anyway, yeah, it invokes a physical reaction, audio listeners. If you, yeah. So, the whole time that Grandpa's talking, Herman's like, yeah, that's right. That's right. Yep. And Grandpa's just, you don't know what you're talking about. Shut up.
Yeah.
Lily starts to get hot and bothered by this description of the sounds her father are mentioning. And
well, from the artist too. Yeah. She's getting very, she looks like she's about to go double click her mouse later. So let's just put it at that. And
Grandpa mentions, or somebody mentioned, I didn't write down who, it's like a Charles Bronson singing feeling.
yeah. Yeah.
And
Grandpa says that.
Lily really loves picturing that. That was weird.
Yeah. And then we go from Lily basically just blowing up in her dress to rock fever.
Yeah, we're at Rock Fever on stage 9 as the host begins the show without the band present. But apparently that's okay because there were 2 other bands playing with the Lizards, and they are the third and final act of the night.
Yep.
The family shows up, and Herman points to the sign saying, this could be it. It's literally a sign that says Rock Fever. He's like, hey, we might have found it. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. Herman walks away to go do something. I don't even remember what the heck he was going to do.
Well, Grandpa lets slip that Herman has a present, and Herman instantly wants it.
That's what it was, yes. He got the present, and he walked away with it.
What was his present, Myke?
I don't know.
You don't remember? Okay. It was gold neck bolts. He loves them.
They're not gold, though.
And then he goes to put them on. Grandpa tells her he knew Herman didn't get her anything.
But they're not
and
gold.
Lily says, it's not the present, it's the thought that counts. And then she starts crying and leaning on Eddie to support her weight.
But they're not gold.
So the host runs
so loud in the mic.
It didn't sound very loud to me. The host runs back and says they must be the Lizards, and Grandpa's like, no, but the host stops them. He doesn't have time. They're already pushing it as it is, so he starts shoving them towards the stage, and Grandpa says that they can't, and the host says, why not? But Herman walks out, and the host thinks they were waiting on the big guy, so he pushes them out and introduces them. Mm-hmm. The crowd is going wild, I might add. And so no one seems to care that it's not actually the Lizards, even though they were there to watch the Lizards.
Right.
That was the headliner. Grandpa grabs a guitar, tells Herman to go for it, Elvis, and Eddie grabs the drumsticks.
Yeah.
Herman says he will be singing Lily, the Light of My Life on our anniversary, which is a number he wrote for his wife on their anniversary. So he did get a gift for Lily. He asked Eddie and Grandpa if they're ready, and they begin playing. And this has to be the inspiration for the scene for Rob Zombie's movie with Herman. It was just way too similar.
Dancing and singing like that.
Yeah, except the song was awful because it's the Munster rap. And oh boy.
It's kind of set up like not the Monster bash, but mash. Yeah, sorry. The Monster Mash. But
Don't You Besmirch, one of my favorite songs.
It felt like the songs from like that time era, though.
Yeah, the beginning of rap, which is not good. For everyone listening, I'm biased. I am a rock metal guy.
Just well, I mean, it is rock fever. It's still like on a
Yeah,
rock.
but it's called the Munster Rap.
Well,
I don't care what Herman named
let's
it.
take a listen. How about that? How about we take a listen? You
Are we gonna
ready?
get hit for this?
I don't know. We'll find out.
Okay. Are you playing it? Well, I just myself.
Trying to. Hold on. Why won't it? Oh, because I had turned the volume down on my player. Sorry, everybody.
Technical
All right,
issues.
let's get this over here.
Still not a.
So begins the Munster Rap. So begins the Munster Rap. When she spoke, wolves howled and howled, and my heart began to beat out loud. I knew that I would love her so. She came right out of Edgar Allan's Poe. So he sings.
Okay. And it keeps going on for a while too, so it's
It does. But
I enjoyed it. I liked the song.
I did not.
It was I want this remastered and available on iTunes. You heard me, Universal? You heard me, son?
Well, I guess, yeah. Go ahead for people who want it so they can support Munsters. I'm not going to spend my money on it. But so Herman's voice hits a pitch so high it causes the band to go back to normal and also blows out some lights. The crowd loved it, and the host signs out, and he jumps around outside the spotlight, being ignored, basically.
Yeah.
Herman begins signing autographs, and Lily's right next to him, telling all the girls to keep their hands off the goods.
So she calls them groupies.
Yeah, he's all hers.
It's like, little groupies, he's mine. Let's go.
Yeah, the lizards walk up to Grandpa, Marilyn, and Eddie, asking what that noise was. I agree, lizards. Grandpa says it was Herman singing from the heart. The lead guy goes, sounds like laryngitis. Grandpa says that's the exact note that they were looking for. So the lizards go to the host, like, look, we're ready to go now. And the host's like, no, the show is over. The band is like, but we're rock stars.
Yeah.
And the host is like, yeah, no, that guy over there signing all those pictures, that's the real rock star. Herman now has sunglasses, which I don't think he was wearing the first time we saw him signing this stuff. And Herman asked Lily how to spell love you, baby. And she just smiles at him to overcome by affection to let the jealousy take over right now.
Yeah. This is a shot. I'm going to put this up on our screen here. Of the three guys after they just came out of being...
Is he going to hit the host?
Lizards? I'm not sure what he was about to do. I'll mute it and play that. There you go. So I saw this image here that's on the screen, guys. If you guys are watching the thing, I'm sorry if not. It straight up reminds me of a Power Rangers thing. It has the freaking neon lights behind it and everything. And it's crazy that it just lined up just like that. But this is when they're just like, we need to perform. We're rock stars, bro. Like, and he's kind of like, yeah, I'm pretty sure you are, but guess what? We're done. It's like, we're not doing the show anymore. Oh, these poor guys.
Well, we got one final scene. You ready for it?
Yep.
Back at home, Herman tells her that he would never forget their anniversary. She's given him the best 274 years. The armor slams his head against the wall. 275 years of his life.
Mm-hmm.
She says it seems like just a century. And the rest of the family roll out a cake to celebrate. but they need to light the candles. So Spot helps them out and sets the whole cake ablaze. The candles didn't look like they were lit, but the cake sure as heck did. Lily thanks Spot and freeze frame.
Yeah, this is awesome because if you watch it, you get to see how I have it up on screen again for video of people too. He blows the candles in. You can tell that the pyro did not work how it was supposed to work, because even after they cut the candle, the all the candles aren't like lit like in the way that it should be, because they set up like a pyrotechnic behind the cake, of course, to make it look like the candles all got lit, but it still didn't work in that way. I'm like, you guys made the cut. Why wouldn't you just go and light all the candles? What?
Yeah. No, I was just telling you, you didn't pause that before you took it off the screen. So it's
I
still
know.
All right. Yeah. It was an interesting like, yeah, the candles just weren't lit. It was burning the cake down.
Yeah.
So do you want to give your thoughts of this episode?
The Arthur Company episode. Sorry, I put up on the screen the company that actually did these the show, guys. It's the Arthur Company. If you don't remember us talking about it in the first episode of this the Munsters Today stuff. I don't know. I like the episode. I thought it was a interesting take on, because when it first started out, I was like, oh no, they're gonna do the whole like, Standell stuff that they did back in the 60s, and we're just gonna have a rock show in the house. We didn't get that, which was awesome. We actually got the Munsters to perform on stage, which I'm sure tons of people have always wanted. We never got that in the 60s, where the Munsters actually did a music performance. And yeah, I think after, you watch it and you see Herman's performance, there's no doubt in my mind that you can't be like, oh yeah, Rob Zombie didn't grab something from this in some way. But then if we ever like get him on here and be like, hey, you ever watch the Munsters Today? And he's like, nope. Then I'd be like, all right, well, fuck me.
I would be shocked, honestly.
Yeah.
Because I mean, just listen to him when he talks about when he used to watch all of these shows back when he was, family working at the circus. This was around that era that he was absorbed into TV. There's no way he missed this show.
Yeah, potentially. I can see, I mean, my kids miss a lot of stuff, and I watch a lot of stuff.
Yeah, well, there's a lot to watch now. How much was back then? You had, Lassie, the Brady Bunch, and then Good Stuff.
Lassie. Oh crap. All right. Yeah. What did you think though, dude? What were your takeaways or opinions?
I had a lot of fun with this one. The kind of throwbacks to the classic show again. Again, not repeating the story though, thankfully.
Yeah.
Seeing Herman perform, even though I didn't enjoy the song at all whatsoever. I can't stress this enough. But yeah, no, I really enjoyed this one. A lot more than I did the last one, which, again, I didn't dislike, but it didn't hit as high as it seemed to with a lot of these
with
today.
The corporate
stories.
Munsters.
No, that was the space one, you go to Venus.
Oh yeah. Yeah, because it felt a lot more like a 60s episode for that one. Yeah.
I'm glad Marilyn is back. It's weird when the family don't. Who would you say was the main person of this story? Was it Grandpa? Or Lily?
Oh, this episode. Who would you say is the main? I don't think anybody is the main, because it's so widely
definitely
spread
wasn't
out.
Eddie.
Wasn't Eddie at all. Yeah.
I'd say it was barely Herman, except for the very end. Yeah, I would say this is a split between a Grandpa and a Lily episode.
Yeah. But I would say that Herman's performance at the end helps make it, well, I guess not really his episode, but he sells the closing of the episode, I feel. But yeah, I think Lily Grandpa for sure. Marilyn, not really. I'm happy she's in it, but it's not really her episode.
I hope we get another Marilyn episode coming up. I liked that one we got of her, and it'd be nice to see even more of this version of the character.
Yeah.
Yeah, overall, I enjoyed this one. I really did.
Okay. All right. So, what do we have next week, dude?
Next week,
this has been a fun episode to do just because we went on a couple of tangents. I'm sorry if you guys didn't enjoy those tangents. So, yeah.
Mike's sleep deprived, and I'm
just here for the ride.
Yeah, I was gonna say social deprived, but
next week, what we got, dude?
Professor Grandpa.
Professor Grandpa.
So it sounds like we're gonna get a very grandpa-centric one, which I'm okay with because those are usually very fun.
We'll see. We'll see.
Are you doing okay? You seem to have lost.
We'll see. No, I'm just saying. We'll see. We'll see. Yeah. I real quick, because we're on episode 9 right now of this episode of this show. We have how many episodes are in this season? I forget.
20 something. I'll look it up here.
22, I believe it is.
Yeah, something like that.
24.
24. Each 24 season episodes. Is 24.
So we're close to halfway there, but we're 9 episodes in. We're built into this world already and stuff. And I'm just curious, what do you think so far, dude?
No lie, I am enjoying this honestly a lot more than the original.
Yeah.
Which is weird because I love the original cast and everything about it, but it's got to be that this is closer to our
your time era. You get more of the jokes, more of the jokes anyways. I can see that. I can't say that yet. Especially for an 80s sitcom, I think that it there's definitely a lot of good stuff that they're doing in this. But again, like last week when we did at the astronaut, Herman the astronaut, that one did kind of revert back to a 60s style, and with these actors and stuff, it works, but it was still like, okay, guys, you remember you're in the 80s now, right? Like, remember where you're at and do the stories. Like this one was a good story. I like this. Not that there was much story to it, but it set up things. It had, like I said before, it had freaking foreshadowing and everything in this episode before we even dived on into anything. So I really like this one. And yeah, I mean, I can 100% see you liking this show more than the original potentially by the time we're finished, especially
I like a lot of goofy things though. So
yeah. Well, that, and I'm sure like because of the 80s tone and stuff like that, like that's like bread and butter of what we grew up on, most likely is 80s and 90s sitcoms, and that's more like what this is. I mean, I grew up on like I Dream of Jeannie and shit like that too. Bewitched and the Munsters and all that stuff, but
I Love Lucy.
I Love Lucy, all those things as well.
Honeymooners.
But you know, for the majority of our childhood, I think that all the 90s and the 80s sitcoms were out all over the place. I'm curious where they go with a lot of this stuff though. I'm interested to see how much further they can take us with these same characters, with building the world and everything, and where we get more family members in, or if it's just gonna I'm worried because it is 3 seasons that eventually it's going to plateau and not go up, you know? So that's my only worry with this show. Again, it's been out for decades now, so I'm sure other people are out there like, nah, it doesn't do that. So, but let me experience it on my own time. Yeah,
we got 63 episodes to go, and even when stuff reaches its peak, like take for instance my favorite sitcom of all time, Scrubs. Season 5 for me is the epitome of that show, and even though the following 3 seasons aren't as good, it's still enjoyable.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Any other things that we have to tout about or anything like that besides next week's episode?
No, nothing off the top of my head. Go vote. Leave us a review. Tell people. Boy, love talking to people. Shout out to Nice Guy. Loving his feedback on all of our YouTube videos.
Yes, thank you very much. And you guys also just let us know what you're thinking of the show in any possible way you can. Emailing us and stuff.
I got something. I apologize for Mike's hideous AI art.
A couple weeks ago, yeah, for St. Patrick's Day. Yeah, and when Tivis says to go vote, he means to go vote for the Rondo Award. That's RONDOAWARD.com, and that voting ends when, Tivis?
April 23rd. So you got 3 more weeks.
Yeah, and there you can vote for Rob Zombie's The Munsters. You can write us in for the podcast vote, all that fun stuff. We would really appreciate it too if you guys do that as well. So definitely helps the show out. We get some recognition and stuff like that. So more Munster fans can find us, because I'm sure not every person who loves the Munsters has found us yet.
No,
there's no way. There's no way. Either that or they just don't like us, and then we're sad. We're so sad.
I'm fine with it. You can't please everyone.
I know. I'm married.
You deserve to get hit so much more than you do. All right. Thank you guys again for joining us on this ride. And look forward to continuing it with you for at least another year or so.
Year or two. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, over a year. We're looking around June of next year.
By the time we're finished, they're going to announce that they're doing a new Munster show.
I mean, I would be ecstatic. Or even like a sequel to Rob Zombie's film. Let's fucking get more.
Definitely.
You have until June of next year, Universal. Do it.
Or we'll just come back.
Yeah, or we'll come back.
We got plenty of content we can do too. All right, guys. With that said, thank you very much. And we will catch you next time as we take another stroll down 1313 Mockingbird Lane.
I want you to learn is it doesn't matter what you look like. You can be tall or short, or fat or thin, or ugly, or handsome, like your father. Or you can be black or yellow or white. It doesn't matter. What does matter is the size of your heart and the strength of your character.